Welcome back into Exit 99 Sports. As always, my name is Caleb Deloach. We got a lot to talk about today. We are deep in the playoffs now across all the fall sports, but I think the biggest news we got to start with here off the top, even ahead of teams winning playoff games, advancing historically far in playoffs, the big news in my bubble here in Cape County is actually Notre Dame. They announced they are going to be getting football in 2027. They're going to start out with JV football in 2027 and then varsity in 2028, also getting a marching band that year. So cool opportunity for those kids as well. So, I mean, that is crazy news. We're adding another football team, a fourth football team in Cape County. I mean, we went, I don't know the actual number, we went 100 and something years with two schools or two football teams in Cape County, and now in what's going to be a 3-4 year span, we will have four teams. So, I mean, just lead off with that off the top. Crazy news, big news, wild news. I mean, it's something that obviously had been talked about for a very long time. Notre Dame getting football, yada, yada. However, with Saxony getting football a couple years ago, it felt like it was going to be something that was in the works, right? Look, I'm not going to act like I am an insider, know a lot, or I'm super plugged in any way in particular, but writing was on the wall, right? Notre Dame had spent whatever it is, 50, 60, 70 years as the only show in town, the biggest show in town, at least as a private school goes, and then boom, Saxony gets football. Got to see that interest keep growing over there, maybe starting to overshadow the Bulldogs a little bit. And, you know, a lot of kids moving over there that want that opportunity to play football. It's kind of been something that maybe isn't super, you know, out there talked about a lot of times. But, hey, you know, I mean, there's a lot of kids that go to private school that might have gone to Notre Dame that wanted to play football. If they want to play football, you either decide to not and stay at Notre Dame, or if those kids do decide to play football, you got to go wherever. It was just Jackson or Cape. Then Saxony option opened up, and, you know, at the end of the day, it is a business. So got to keep you know, the doors were never going to shut. The lights were never going to get turned off at Notre Dame, but they definitely didn't want to start hemorrhaging kids in any type of way. And so it's super exciting, really fun. So, and I mean, in a couple of seasons, I will have a fourth team to cover. Really, really neat, really, really fun. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to expect. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be neat. Have a lot of new faces, a lot of new names to learn coming up. So it'd be cool. I mean, some kids are going to be, there'll be the kids that are currently, you know, sophomores, freshmen will be able to be on that varsity team there in 2028. So that'd be really, really cool. I guess kids that are freshmen now will be able to do that. So that'd be really neat. It'd be a really cool opportunity. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see kind of what level they land at class wise, and see where they fit in the area, how it affects other teams. I mean, just being honest, you know, they are a private school, so they draw from the entire region. They're Notre Dame Regional High School. So kind of see what kids they draw from there is going to be interesting. See if it pulls kids from any other direction. I don't know. It's going to be neat. It'll be a fun thing to monitor. It'll be a lot of fun. Just have another team in the area. Maybe they'll, you know, develop a rivalry with one of the other schools here in the Cape County. And yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of fun. So more football. More football is always a good thing, especially, you know, right now as we are in playoff time. Football is on the forefront of a lot of people's minds. We've entered districts. We had our first week of district football this past week. We had one game here in Cape County as Jackson and Saxony were both on a bye. Cape, however, hosted Melville in the, I believe, 2-7 game in Class 5, District 1. Cape Central, I believe I previewed it, you know, now a week or two ago, and I didn't expect much drama here. This is kind of what I expected, and the Cape did win 44-0. It was a slow start, which is to be expected a little bit in the playoffs. Melville Obviously, a lot of these kids playing their last game, going to go out, going to play really, really tough, come out guns blazing, if you will. Cape led 17-0 at halftime. There's those 7 of those points coming off of a defensive touchdown. Another one for Breon Clemens. We talked about his playmaking ability on offense. He's really shown off the last few weeks defensively. Back-to-back weeks with a pick 6. He's a playmaker, man. He's a really good athlete, good receiver, good when he gets the ball in his hands out of the backfield sometimes. And can also flip to the defensive side of the ball and has played well over there all season. As that's been a big strength I've talked about many times on here. The Cape defensive backfield is good. Like, they have a really good defensive backfield. They have really athletic kids. They're playmakers. They're ball hawks. And they showed off this week. I mentioned coming into it, Melville's quarterback throws it a lot, and he also throws it to the other team a lot. And so that was a potential X factor, and it definitely showed up. In that first half, Cape had 3 interceptions on defense. I mentioned Clemens at the pick 6. Malachi Johnson got one. D. Williams got the other. And it was a slow start for Cape. The offense took a little bit to get going. But in the second half, it really, really started rolling. Also, I know Joey Charlton made a field goal there in the first half. I think he went 1 for 2 in the first half. But the big story from a couple weeks ago was Keyshawn Boyd was back. He had a good first game, after missing about 2 months of football. Jumping right in week 9, he showed up and played well against Kennett. And then in this ball game, he was back in prime Keyshawn Boyd form. He had 200 yards. He scored 2 touchdowns on both big runs of 40 plus and 60 plus on another. I believe both of those coming in the second half. Torrance Murray goes back to that role that, he's kind of expected to at the beginning of the year. The complimentary back to Keyshawn. He had put up another good game. He had like 70 yards, 2 touchdowns as well. And they've got that offense there rolling now with Boyd in there. And hey, we'll look ahead at the future here in a little bit, but I remain optimistic going into, what we got, the next round of playoffs and potentially district championship type games. So I'm really optimistic, really excited to kind of see where they go. So we'll go chronologically here. There's definitely a big story I want to talk about also on the court, which we'll start with volleyball there to get to the big story, in my opinion. Like I said, chronologically, we'll start in the district semifinals. Jackson defeated Seckman 3-0. They swept them to get to the Class 5 District 1 championship game. And then also Saxony swept Fredericktown convincingly at like 25-17, 25-6, 25-21, sweeping Fredericktown 2-3 matchup. I didn't really know how that would go going into it. With hindsight on my side now, I know where Saxony's at, but I didn't really know how even that matchup would go. I thought Saxony was the favorite there, and they definitely took care of business. In the Class 5 District 1 championship game, this is now Tuesday, we had 3 championship games. Class 5 District 1 was the upset. It was the first half first part of the news here. That's the unfortunate one that I had to give is Jorge Zoo beat Jackson 3-1. It was an upset technically, but at the same time, they were playing at Jorge Zoo's home court, which is really, really tough in a district championship game setting. Jackson beat Jorge Zoo at Jorge Zoo again last year also in the championship game. So, revenge was on their mind. Jackson also beat Jorge Zoo at Jackson 3-1 earlier in the season. So, these girls came out and they just took it to Jackson. It was a very competitive game the entire time. Jorge Zoo won the first 2 sets, 25-23 and then 25-20. Jackson bounced back and won 25-22 in set 3. Then Jorge Zoo closed them out 25-17 in set 4. Unfortunately, bringing a really, really good year to an end for the Indians. They finished the year 36-3. They dominated competition in Southeast Missouri. They played teams from all over the state, showed up and showed out really, really well. They played some really good teams and they beat a lot of them. But like I said, having to go on the road for a district championship game is always something that's very, very tough to do. And it stinks when you're the 1 seed and you got to be on the road playing a true road game. Like I said, Jackson, really good season. I mean, I was pulling up their schedule. They beat good teams from Tennessee, from Mississippi. They beat a really good St. Pius X team. They beat Nixa team that I believe is in the Final Four in Class 6. They, beat who beat it. Like I said, everybody in the area. They beat Correzu the first time they played. They split. They won one game against Incarnate Word. They lost the second time they matched up. So it was a good team. They had a really, really good year. It's just a tough way for them to go out. Unfortunately, they lose a good senior class. I mentioned 36-3. That's a school record for wins. It breaks a 6-year streak of them winning district championship games. And then, back to what I was saying, Ava Wessel, Lila Sands, Melena Haynes, Katarina Ellison, Jade Cowart, all girls that were big parts of the rotation, heading out the door. And then, that's the way high school volleyball works or high school sports work in general. Every year, kids are going to graduate, move on, but good senior class, gave a lot to the team, and, salute to them, and a great year, great last couple seasons for the Indians, winning, breaking school records back-to-back years for wins. So tough way for them to go out. They're in Class 5 District 1, and then echoing that same sentiment, Notre Dame gets beat Class 4 District 1 against West Plains. Unconventional matchup. Notre Dame was a 3 seed. West Plains was a 4 seed, but got to give it to West Plains. They made that long trip over to Cape Girardeau and took the tournament by storm. They swept Notre Dame. Pretty lopsided there early. It was 25-15, and then a little bit of a backbreaker there in set 2. Notre Dame went up. They had a good lead, and then West Plains stormed all the way back from trailing by 4, 5, 6 points there late to win 26-24, and then they close it out 25-18 in set 3. I mean, another good year for Notre Dame. That's a program that has just been rolling also at a good level for many years under Coach Brinkmeyer. High level, 20-win season again. They also lose some seniors. Now, as far as numbers go, not a big number. However, Ryland Dernberger, Lily Brotherton, and then Claudia Jones all moving on. Jones, one of the best setters, not just in the area and the state. So it's tough to see her go out. She had a great career, broke a lot of records over there. So salute to those girls. Congrats on great careers, but unfortunate way for them to end the season, obviously, but only one team's going to win. So those girls come out on the wrong side of things. But bouncing to a more optimistic note, Saxony goes to Dexter and beats Kennett 3-1 in that championship game, and what is by seed an upset. However, it was kind of an upset that I expected to occur. I knew Saxony had beaten Kennett. I thought they were the better team. They beat them in 4 sets. It was 25-13. Saxony, then Kennett got their only win in set 2, 25-19. And then it was all Saxony from there, 25-22, and then 25-7 in set 4. Just an avalanche there for Saxony. So they continue on. They're the lone team that was represented out of districts, which, kudos to them. They really pulled this season together. They had stretches there early in the middle of the year where, it was not going their way. You pull up the schedule. They lost what? This is bad radio, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games in a row, mid to late September. And it's like, I don't know. Where's this team going? Can they kind of turn it around? They were dealing with injuries and a lot of youth. They have good seniors on this team, but then also they have a lot of young girls, a lot of freshmen even that are big parts of the team. And hey, it takes a little bit to get that confidence going, get things gelling. Gelling they are. They go into Class 3 District 1, pretty much dominate, and then they head into, what was a very big-time matchup in sectionals, and they did have the benefit of hosting it. They're taking on Potosi. Potosi, the reigning Class 3 state champions. Did not matter. They came out fired up. Saxony played a great game. They won 25-19 in set 1 and 2, and then 25-23 in set 3 to get the sweep over Potosi. Whenever the last show I did, I was looking at the bracket, and I think I was just like, we'll see the next episode where things shake out, because honestly, I didn't see them getting past Potosi. Potosi had, a great season. They came in with 28 wins at that point. Saxony, I think, technically is below 500 still, even at the moment. But so this Potosi team I knew was very good, and I thought they were poised to make a run back to the Final Four, but not to be. Saxony, shout out to Saxony, picking up a big win. And then they had a matchup in the state quarterfinals once again on their home court against Lutheran South. Now, this is a game, if I would, had looked out that far ahead, I definitely leaned Saxony's way in this one. I thought this was a significantly easier opponent, obviously, than Potosi. That was this past Saturday at Saxony, and Saxony took care of business. They got the sweep. Once again, very convincingly, 25-17, 25-20, 25-14 to advance to, I believe, their first Final Four in school history in volleyball. Heck of a first year for Coach Ozark. Shout out to her, leading this team to a great close to the season and now into the Final Four. McDowell, been a great setter, especially in this big run. Korn led the team with 8 kills the other day. Tally Renshaw had 5, one of those seniors I talked about, kind of helping lead this young group of girls. And this is awesome to see. Not what I would have expected, honestly. Like I said, coming into the season, a lot of question marks, even through middle part of the season. A lot of things not going their way, but this group is really, really rounded in the form. And around the SEMO conference, they made a run to the championship game. They got beat by Jackson. I think they got swept by Jackson, but they were very competitive. That sounds like I'm, patronizing or whatever, but Jackson was the class of the area by far, regardless of how the season ended. Class 5 is a different animal, but the fact that they were that competitive against the Indians gave me a lot of hope for the future. And then they've really, really shown out. They're young, like I mentioned, but those young girls are great athletes. A lot of kids I expect to be some of the bigger, better names in volleyball in the next couple of years. So, Final Four, shout out to Saxony, man. That is so, so cool. So exciting. The only unfortunate part, which, there's not an unfortunate part, right? They're in the Final Four, and it's cool. It's super exciting. They take on Mount Vernon. Don't know a lot about Mount Vernon, but they are 25-7 with 2 ties. They're undefeated on their home court, but away they have, suffered. That's where they've suffered all 7 of those losses. Only common opponent looks to be West Plains. Both teams got swept by West Plains. But, like I said, you can kind of throw out what happened earlier in the year for Saxony. They're playing at another level really right now, but I kind of alluded to the bad part is that the Final Four, as long as I can remember, was at the Show Me Center. And how cool would that be if it was at the Show Me Center? Saxony's there, get the whole community in there. Unfortunately, that contract with SEMO ran out. Who got the bid to host the Final Four now? It is over in St. Joseph's, Missouri. So Saxony, you get to go to the Final Four. And all your fans, you are greeted with a drive 2 p.m. game on the 7th in St. Joseph's, Missouri. What is that? 6.5, 7 hours away. So north of Kansas City, a little bit of a drive, but I'm sure those girls are more than happy to make that drive as they, get to play in a Final Four. It's a big, big opportunity, and I'll be rooting for them. You can buy the games on Misha TV if you want to watch. Misha does a pretty good job. A good job in all the playoff games, Final Four type games, broadcasting those. They do get a bad name a lot of times, but I've been really, they've received high marks on all their hosting of state championship games and the broadcasting of them. So you'll be able to do that on Misha TV. I'll be tuned in and rooting for you girls from here. So very, very neat, very, very cool. So we'll move on, talk about the end of boys soccer in the regular season. Cape knocked off Saxony. We had a inter-county matchup there. 5-1. The Tigers got the win. Saxony also took on a good Lutheran South team, lost that one 5-0. And then we had the big one to close out the year for the SEMO Conference regular season championship. Jackson and Notre Dame. The Indians the game got moved to Jackson, and Jackson ended up winning that one 2-0. Just a solid all-around win for the Indians. They go undefeated in SEMO Conference play, so very cool for them. They go in riding pretty high into the postseason. So we'll talk about the postseason here in just a little bit. Then we get to look at cross country. Cross country had district meets, and some of those district meets were actually here. In Class 4 and 5, District 1s were at the Osage Center. I'll go in reverse order. We'll start with Class 5, District 1. Story there is the Indians boys cross country team advances as a team to state. So they go to the state championships as a team. They came in fourth. Top 4 teams in each district advance to state as a team. And so those guys will be going on to state. They were led by Aiden Niebalski, as they have been all season long. He ran 15.50. He came in fourth overall. And then 2 guys that have always been running right next to each other. I think every meet they finished bang, bang, a half second apart from each other. Nate Meisner came in 24th. Chase Wendell came in 25th. Kenyon Kelpie came in 32nd. Tower Ewan came in, was 17:39, number 62. So those guys will all be moving on to state. On their girls' side, the team will not be advancing, but Emma Niebalski will be individually. I believe top 30 advanced to state. She came in 9th overall in the district at 19:23. The next highest finisher for the Indians was a freshman, Hallie King. She got 35th place in 2024. So shout out to them. They will be moving on to the state meet, like I said. So that's very cool. I don't know what the conditions are going to be like. It's over at Gans Creek. Will be the state championships up in Columbia. So it's a really, really nice course. Check out those broadcasts as well. It'll be a good one, and it'll be a really, really tough meet. Moving down to Class 4, District 1, the Notre Dame boys unfortunately come up just a hair short. They come in 5th place as a team, so the team will not be advancing. However, they do bring several individuals to the state meet with them. Cape Central also in there. They finished a little bit behind Notre Dame as well. I will mention Cape Central first. They did get a girl qualifier for state, and that is Jamie Dawson-Ide. I got to give a lot of props to Jamie. Really, really good multi-sport athlete. She went to state, I believe, in track and field. Or she was a really good runner in track and field, good 400-meter runner. Now she's out here in cross country going to state. Also, I believe, an all-conference player in basketball, SEMO conference for the Tigers. So, I mean, just a really, really good all-around athlete. Shout out to Jamie. She came in 29th, 22:02. I believe that was a PR for her. So, huge for her. Great momentum and really, really cool experience going to the state meet. On the boys' side, they didn't have anybody qualify. They had a few guys get pretty close. They were led by Wesley McFerrin. He came in 35th and 18:15. Khalil Williams clocked in at 18:20. So those guys, good season. I'm excited to see where they go. Hopefully, keep improving, keep working, stay in the lab. Wesley McFerrin, obviously, really, really young kid. So excited to see where they end up. Hopefully, get a couple of kids into the state championships next season. But shout out to Jamie making her way up there. And then I mentioned on the boys' side, Notre Dame, they've got 4 guys going to the state meet. As expected, Aiden Morris, he gets second in the district in 15:40. Jackson Jones there in 14th and 16:43. Then also coming through Brendan Dial in 28th and Blake DeBrock in 30th. So shout out to those 4 guys. They will be, extending their season, going to the state meet. And, Jones has had a good year, but I really think Aiden Morris can make some noise. He's going to, have tough competition. Carson Drymeyer, those guys from Webster Groves as well. Festus as a team, going to have some dudes, but I'm optimistic. I think that, he can finish pretty high. I think he came, I don't have it in front of me. I want to say he came in 6th a season ago. I might be wrong. I know it was top 10, but I expect a repeat of that, maybe even higher, getting up there in the top 5 this year. And then in Notre Dame was in Class 3, District 1 on the girls' side. As a team, they come in 2nd place. Really, really good run for those girls as they have the top 2 finishers in the district. So like I said, as a team, they will be going through. And, at this point, if you've paid attention whatsoever, you can probably tell me who is at the top of the leaderboard for them. It was Martina Russell in 1st place, Lily Coy in 2nd place, Amelia Peters in 12th, Victoria Avila Hanau in 14th, Annabelle Naughton in there at 35th, Brennan Grimes, 51st. Anna Turner, 52nd. So a good run for them as a team. Wrestle with another huge time, going sub 18 is very, very impressive. And I mean, Wrestle and Coy, I expect to be up on the podium, very, very near the top there in Class 3. I mean, I'm expecting Martina Wrestle to win Class 3 state championship, I think, this year. I haven't poked around too deeply, but I mean, she's been a beast. And I expect Lily Coy to push her and potentially be up there right behind her. Or, like the SEMO conference meet. Lily came in first. So I'm expecting big things out of those girls. They've been awesome all season long. They're the class of the SEMO conference. And I hope they continue that, over into state and come back with some hardware. Then also at Arcadia Valley was Saxony. They made the drive up there. Shout out to Woodland, by the way. Woodland boys winning that district as well. Saxony boys, they finished middle of the pack there in 9th place as a team, so good showing as a group for them. And the girls will be advancing as a team as they came in 3rd with 93 total points. So we'll pull up their team results here. On the girls' side, they were led by Rayleigh Matthews in 21:43. She came in 13th. Eva Williamson, Adeline Brandhorst, Emmy Bankston, and Gretchen Wolf all finished top 30. Then Briley Meyer and Allie McKee coming up right behind them, closing out the team. Over on the boys' side, it will be Nicholas Chambliss. He is the lone representative going to state. He came in 28th place in 18:07. A couple other good showings, though. Mark Ritchie came in 39th, Jacob Shupp in 43rd. So congrats to those guys advancing on. Big, big, big accomplishment. And, yeah, make sure to keep up with them. I said it'll be up at Gants Creek, Columbia. Really, really nice course. I believe that's where they're hosting the national championship, I think, in college cross country, or maybe the SEC championship. At this point, I don't remember now. But, yeah, so big time stuff out of all those individuals there in cross country. So we can jump ahead now and look to what's all going on this week. We do now have 3 football games going on in the week, so we'll have a lot more to talk about as far as that goes. As I mentioned, lone volleyball representative this Friday. It will be Saxony. They will be playing Friday and Saturday regardless, win or lose. But it'll depend on if they win, they'll be in the championship game. So we'll definitely be rooting for that. I said their game is at 2 p.m. The other game between Oak Grove and Elias is at 4. If Saxony wins, the championship game is Saturday at noon. If they lose, get ready to wake up bright and early. They play at 10 a.m. on November 8th. So best of luck to those girls. I will quickly look around, see if there's any other local representatives at state. A little bit further up north, Perryville, Missouri. St. Vincent is in the Final Four. I believe that's where they were at last year. They're taking on New Covenant. That game's the 5th. If they win, and then win or lose, they play again on the 6th. So best of luck to those girls as well. Boys soccer is something I wanted to mention earlier as well. We are into district playoffs. Regular season has finally come to a close. And we should have some pretty interesting soccer. I know I mentioned it, I believe in the last episode, the brackets were already out. Jackson in Class 4. District 1, they got the 2 seed behind Oakville, and the tournament will be played at Lindbergh High School. Jackson will take on Seckman. The game is the 4th. Ignore everything I just said. They're playing at Oakville, though, when you click on the matchup, it says so. Jackson and Seckman at Oakville. The Indians are the favorite there, but Seckman, very good team, coming at 12-8. Indians at 14-5. They only have one similar opponent. That's Northwest. They both lost to them. So we'll see how it goes. Rooting for Jackson, hoping for them to make a little bit of a run. They've closed the season really strong. They found ways to win. If they do win, they'll turn around again and play on the 6th. So that's Thursday. Yeah, best of luck to the Indians. They have a good squad. I like, the way they've been playing here as of late. They have a good senior class. So best of luck to them. They're in Class 4, District 1, Class 3, District 1. Really, really busy with our teams here in the county. You've got Notre Dame is the 1 seed. They will be taking on, actually, Saxony, who is the 3 seed. At the time of you're watching this, you'll probably already know the outcome of that. Really cool, though. These games are here in Cape Girardeau. So get over there. Notre Dame will be hosting that game. And I believe the semifinals will be played at Cape. So Cape will be hosting their game against Saxony Monday. Hopefully they're able to win. And the winners, which if you're making me guess or pick right now, I mean, Notre Dame dominated Saxony earlier in the regular season. I expect that to continue. Those games on Thursday could be Notre Dame against the winner of West Plains and Soto. And if Cape is able to beat Saxton, which is not going to be easy, that was a 1-point game earlier in the regular season, they'll be taking on the winner of Poplar Bluff and Hillsboro Thursday at 6:30, and that'll be over at Cape Central. And then the championship, if we get to that point, might as well talk about it now, will be the 10th. So that's Monday, November 10th. And the championship game is at 6 p.m. So a lot of local flavor there in Class 3 District 1. Let's take a peek over at Class 2 District 1. That's where you find Perryville, who, everybody around here has played. Really, really good team. They got a bye, so they'll be starting the semifinals. They'll be playing Fredericktown. I expect them to, probably win that district as well, as they are the favorite and the 1 seed and all that jazz. So best of luck to all those local teams again. Should we see potentially a rematch, hopefully, in the championship game between Notre Dame and Cape, and went Notre Dame's way the first time around. I believe that was a shutout, 2-0. So I'm sure Cape will be fired up. It'll be at their home field. So I will hopefully be making an appearance there. We'll see how schedules work out. But yeah, super excited, super fun. Postseason time, it's do or die. You lose, you're done. A lot of careers going to be ending here. So I expect everybody to come out, play really, really tough, and yeah, make for a very competitive district tournament. I just mentioned cross country. Looks like Class 3, 4, and 5, the championships will be Friday, November 7th, and then Saturday will be Classes 1 and 2, November 8th. So yeah, get up there. If you are a parent, family, friend, all that, really, really cool, really nice course. If you've never been there, get up there to Gans Creek. It's super cool. I mean, it's a college cross-country venue, so it's the real deal. It's super nice. Yeah, go check it out. Very, very nice, very, very fun place to run at. So we'll get into football now. We got a lot of big matchups. 3 games going on, and all 3 will be ones to watch. I'm not going to necessarily guarantee they're all going to be the most competitive. I will start with the Indians, Class 6, District 1. The Indians had a bye last week. They will be taking on Oakville. Oakville won 19-17 over Lindbergh in round 1. This game will be at Jackson, as Jackson is the 1 seed, so they'll be hosting as long as they're in there for districts. And, I can tell you about Oakville. Oakville's a good team. They had a really good year. They're 8-2. They average 29 points a game. They only give up 10 points a game. They have one of the best, statistically, defenses in the state of Missouri this year. Only 10 points per game allowed. The offense has been pretty solid. It's somewhat evenly split. They have 3 good running backs that all get a lot of carries. Quarterback Max Bradley has really been a little bit of a revelation for them in the past game. It's kind of been a place they struggled the last several years. He's helped stabilize the offense, giving them a more balanced look. And he's completing 51% of his passes, 1,100 yards, 9 scores through the air, 7 interceptions. At running back, they're led by Gavin Anderson. He's over 600 yards, but they have kind of a 3-headed monster there with Jacob Baines, who has 300 yards rushing, and Jackson Odell, who has over 300 yards rushing. Baines is a better receiver. Out of the 3, he is kind of the receiving back. He has 160 yards and 3 scores through the air on top of the 5 he has on the ground. So a pretty balanced offense. The leader out wide, Colin This is going to be a mouthful, and I need to get better at this one before I do the radio for Jackson. We got wide receiver Colin, last name Piechochinski. Piechochinski. We'll work on it. We'll Google it. We might email his mom or something, try to figure that out. He has 37 receptions, 490 yards. They give him the ball a lot in the backfield, jet sweeps, things like that. He has 18 carries, 209 yards, and a score on the ground. So really, really versatile kid. And, I mean, a big part of their team as well is the kickoff team, which if you were Jackson, you've got to be sweating because the Indians have given up 3 kickoff returns for touchdowns their last 2 games. It's crazy to say out loud. A kid named Tarvis Davidson averages 34 yards per kick return. He has 2 kick returns for touchdowns. That is where a high amount of focus needs to be for the Indians. It's been an issue at times. The special teams has been a roller coaster all season long. So somebody tackle that kid. That's all I got to say. Now, defensively, they're very, very opportunistic. That is Oakville. They've got 11 interceptions as a team. They've recovered 15 fumbles. They have 23 sacks. They have 2 pick sixes as a team. I mean, they are a good squad. Very, like I said, I mean, the defense, only 10 points a game. That's where they really lean on, but the offense has kind of come alive this season as well. Jackson and Oakville, though, not too far separated geographically. Oakville is on the southern side of St. Louis. But the last meeting was in 2014. That was actually also in the district semifinals in a wild game. Jackson won 41-35 in overtime. Jackson scored in overtime, missed the extra point. Oakville got the ball back, got down to the 5-yard line, fumbled, and I believe Bryce Dickerson, Bryce Dickerson, got the fumble recovery. So I don't know if that's going to mean anything. If you're an Indian fan, Jackson's undefeated. They average 53 points a game. They give up 14. So, I mean, look, if I'm saying who's going to win, I'm going to pick Jackson, not as a homer, just objectively speaking at this point. I mean, the Indians have been fantastic. I do think Oakville is going to push them a little bit. They're going to make their life maybe a little bit more difficult. But I think this is one that Jackson wins and probably wins pretty lopsided. So. Moving on, we've got Cape Central taking on Webster Groves. Webster Groves comes into the ball game 4-5. They defeated Miller Career Academy last week 41-14. Webster Groves gives up 32.6, so a lot of shootouts for them. They've given up some points. They score some points. Their quarterback puts the ball in the air a lot. He's passed for over 1,700 yards, 15 scores, 11 interceptions. Not a big runner. Only completes about 50% of his passes also. They do a lot through the air. A lot of their offense is moving through the air. Jonas Fagan is their leading receiver, 41 catches, 795 yards, 9 scores. Kyron Brumley, a good two-way player for them at defensive back as well. He has 31 catches, over 500 yards, 3 scores. And like I said, he flips over, plays defensive back. At running back is another good two-way player, Owen Capaccia, who we're going to go with. 93 carries, over 400 yards, 5 scores. He also has 130 yards receiving. And then on defense, he's their leading tackler with 82. He's got 5 sacks, 11 TFLs, and interceptions. So, good player. This Webster Groves team is solid. It's a situation kind of where they beat the teams they should, lose to the teams they shouldn't. Cape, the numbers pretty simple. They come in now 7-3. They're giving up 19 points a game. They're scoring 25. The last meeting actually was last season between these two teams. Cape won that one 42-7 in the district quarterfinals. I mean, with Keyshawn Boyd back and healthy and running as well as he has been, I do give Cape Central the advantage here. That's going to be at home, which I think is, obviously going to help out. The Tigers, for sure. I hope Cape fans are there and show out and get loud. Get fired up. Your team has a real chance to be back in the district championship game, so go support them. That championship game would be on the road, theoretically, if it's Farmington winning. So, yeah, I mean, it's a big opportunity, big-time matchup. I do give the lean to Cape Central. I mentioned Webster Groves hovering around 500. They do give up points, in a real way. I mean, they've got blown out. They came into districts kind of on a 3-game losing streak. They got blown out by Rittner, by Oakville, by Seckman. They got blown out early by Vianney. So I do think Cape is in that weight range of the Seckmans, Oakvilles, Viannis of the world. And so I don't know how lopsided the score will be. I think Webster Groves is going to be able to keep it a little bit closer. But, I mean, with the way they pass the ball and the way Cape's defensive backs have been playing, that's going to be a big potential X factor, is the turnovers through the air and then Cape's ground game. Can Cape control the ball, get first downs, keep moving it, break those explosive runs that Keyshawn Boyd has had last week and that Torrance Murray's had all season long? If they're able to do that again, they should win this game and win it somewhat going away, I think. I think this is a 2-3 score game, at least for Cape Central, in my opinion. I like them a lot, and, we could be seeing a rematch in that district title game. I mentioned Farmington. They're the 1 seed. They're going to be playing Fox. Fox blew out Poplar Bluff in round 1. Fox is sneaky. They're a pretty solid team. They've lost to a lot of good teams, but they've been competitive, and now they're kind of picking up some wins here. So I think they'll push Farmington. I think Farmington will win. So I think my projection right now is a rematch. We'll see when we get there. But for this one, though, I do like Cape Central. I like them to win by a few scores here, probably at least. So best of luck to them, though. Go take care of business. Do what you need to. And, their defense has been phenomenal. So I think their defense will play well in this one again. Last game we got is Saxony. Saxony will be taking on Hayti in a very, very interesting game, in my opinion. Hayti, 4-5. They started a little bit slow, I believe. What I've heard is the injury bug kind of hit them early on in the season. They did come in as the 3 seed here in this district because them and Saxony had a bye. Up on the top half, Portageville blew out Malden in the 4-5 game. So you've got Charleston versus Portageville, which could go either way. Portageville's the 4 seed, but they already beat Charleston once this year. And Saxony will be hosting, which is really, really cool. Just opportunity in general. First year as a varsity football team getting to host a district playoff game. Super, super neat. So once again, Saxony fans, get out there, show up, show out. Go be loud for your team because they got a real chance to make a district title game and potentially host if Portageville wins. So be on the lookout for that. And as far as Hayti goes, they score 29 points a game. They give up 30. So, a lot of high-scoring football games for them. Saxony, pretty similar, numbers. They are 4-4. They're scoring 37. They're giving up 31. I kind of expect this to be a high-scoring ball game. I mentioned Hayti. You look at the scores, you just kind of got to figure out where you're at here. The one common denominator is Marquette Catholic. Hayti beat Marquette Catholic in week 8, 32-14. That's a team that beat Saxony, I believe, on the road, middle of the season, during the middle of that losing streak Saxony had. However, I expect this to be a high-scoring game. In their losses, Hayti has given up losses? They gave up 52 to Scott City. They gave up 59 to Father Tolton, 42 to St. Vincent, 49 to Caruthersville. So the wins, they've been giving up points, 2, 3, 4 scores as well. Who to look for on their team? Quarterback J.C. Ford is a good one, 1,700 yards, 24 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. So you're going to see 2 teams that are pretty mirrored with each other, what they want to do. They want to spread it out, throw it around, get athletes out in space, run when you get a light box. Isaiah Love is their leading rusher, 83 carries, over 800 yards, 12 touchdowns. Out wide, it is Javante Payne. He has over 1,000 yards receiving, 1,099, and 15 touchdowns. He's the guy. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't know, if it's zone, you're doubling up over the top. I don't know what your game plan is, but Javante Payne is the guy. He is the dude on the outside for this team. Ford, pretty good athlete, but like I said, he has put it in the air 118 times to the tune of 1,735 yards. So he can sling it. And then defensively, Thomas Hightower is their leader in tackles and sacks. So he's a guy that kind of makes plays. Look, I don't know how this game's going to go. This is a coin flip game. in my opinion, it's at Saxony. I think that definitely will play in. That's a long drive for Hayti up to, Fruitland out there. So I'll go with the hometown team. I'm willing to go down with the ship if need be. Been a great year one. I'll give Saxony the win. We'll go 35-27. We'll go there. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. It could be up in the 40s, could be in the 50s. I do think if Saxony is able to hold them under 35, that they can win. As long as they're able to move the ball. Saxony has had some trouble against really, really athletic teams. This Hayti team will have good athletes on the perimeter. So we'll see if they're able to slow down that passing offense by Ford. That's what I'm rooting for. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. This Hayti team has been improving quite a bit as the season goes on, but so is Saxony. Saxony's playing some of their best football right now. So I think it's a pretty even game. I think it's going to be high scoring. It could be in the 30s, could be in the 40s. Somebody could score 50. Wouldn't shock me. So I think that's where I'm going to leave it out. I'm going to give Saxony the win, like I said, kind of as a homer pick, I guess, since that's the team I cover. But if you tell me Hayti won, I wouldn't be surprised. This is kind of a 50-50 coin flip game, in my opinion. So it's kind of where I'll leave it. We're running out of sports to talk about at this point. We've got playoffs for everybody now. Everybody's into the postseason. We're in districts. We're in the Final Four for volleyball. The only other sport I did want to check out is swimming. And yeah, the SEMO conference meet, by the time you watch this, will probably already have happened. That is Tuesday in swimming, 11-4. The SEMO conference meet will be in Cape. So best of luck to all of our local squads over there. And then Class 2. So I have some questions here about how districts and state work. On the Misha website, looking at Jackson's schedule, they have the district swim meet on Saturday the 8th, and then state on the 14th and 15th, so the following weekend. So I believe that is how it's going to go for everybody. I'll look at Cape Central. It says that is on the 7th, districts. Districts is on the 7th for Cape Central, and then state is the 13th and 14th. So at the end of this week, we'll have districts then in Class 1 and Class 2 in swimming, and then the state meet will be the following weekend there in Class 1 and Class 2. So best of luck to all those guys swimming as well, as we are. I mean, I've been saying for a while, hey, we're getting close to the end. We're getting close to the end. I mean, now at this point, a majority of our teams are done playing. Majority of our individual athletes are done performing and competing as well. We're almost there. We're almost at the very end here now. We're about to get into winter sports. I've just finished an interview. If I sound like I've been talking for 2 hours, it's because I have been. I just finished an interview with another basketball coach, so I'll start getting some of those out as we close down shop on the fall sports. Maybe we'll should have maybe a little bit of time in between, or right about time basketball starts getting kicked off. I'll keep talking to them. If you guys have any suggestions, hit me up, or if anybody does want to talk to me, reach out, hit me up, say, hey, let's talk about basketball. I'm always down. Basketball practice starts, by the time you've already seen this, starts Monday, November 3rd. So we're there. We're there for basketball. We're there for winter sports. The winter sports calendar, a little bit slimmer than fall. You've got basketball, you've got wrestling, you've got girls swimming and diving. So not as much going on. It's going to be a little bit slower. But basketball is very, very plentiful. We'll get my eyes on some more wrestling this season. Something I want to be a little bit more plugged into for sure is wrestling, a sport I want to know a little bit more about, and, maybe hear from some people over on the wrestling side of things as well. So I'm excited for winter sports to start. Like I said, the basketball practices are getting kicked off. Once again, I'll start talking about it the next podcast we do. I'm going to talk about SEMO men's basketball a little bit more. I haven't talked about football a lot. I apologize. But I plan on, going to a few games here for SEMO men's basketball this season. They've got a lot of local kids on the team, so I want to check them out. Jay Reynolds from Cape, PJ Farmer and Trey Sadler from Saxon are both on the squad. Their first game is, once again, November 3rd at SLU, so that'll be a really, really cool one. We got a few weeks, I believe the 14th, maybe the 17th. I'll pull up. I took a screenshot of it, I believe. Webster's coming to town. That'll be a home game. I plan on that's Wednesday, November 12th. Former Indian Caden Winborn's on that team, so I'm planning on being in attendance there as well. So hoping to make it out to some SEMO basketball games, men and women. And I'm optimistic Coach Palmer going to get things kind of going in the right direction, start picking up some W's. And Coach Korn feels like he's got a really, really good squad and a lot of guys coming back. And then, some new kids I'm excited about. Maybe see PJ Farmer get some PT. I don't know. But yeah, I'm really excited. I'm going to be talking about basketball. I love football, right? Okay. I told you I'm a Jackson graduate. Jackson's a football town, and they're really, really good at it. So it makes it a lot more fun to talk about. But I'm a basketball guy deep down. I was, a basketball player. I watch basketball year round. So I'm excited for winter sports to start. But got a long way to go. Hopefully we've got a lot of teams playing into up to December, Thanksgiving, maybe the first week of December, I think is the state title game. So whatever. I'll quit rambling. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. It's fun, as always, to keep doing this, and I appreciate all the feedback. Once again, if you ever got anything you want me to talk about, if you ever get anything wrong, if you ever want to elaborate on something I talk about, just hit me up. Caleb Deloach, hit me up on whatever social media app. You can find us on social media, our Exit 99 Sports page. Just look us up, Exit 99 Sports, Facebook, Instagram, X, not Twitter, X. Active everywhere. I want to be active on TikTok. I'm just not great at getting into it. I'm sorry. I'm old. Yeah. I'll be sharing all the sports, all the scores, all the schedules, all the schedule changes, updates, everything everybody puts out. I'll be sharing and posting there on those pages. And like I said, I appreciate all you guys who watch, listen, keep liking, subscribe. Check us out on YouTube. During basketball, I might get into some live streaming of stuff that we cover here. So yeah, appreciate it. As always, I do this to give the shine to the kids, to the coaches, to the people who are out there every day sacrificing time, and the athletes sacrificing time and sweat and energy, all that. They're the ones putting in the work. I just get to sit here in an air-conditioned room and talk about it. So thank you guys, as always, for listening. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.